Hey everyone, John here and Forrest back with your monthly market update. Thanks for sticking with us. We really appreciate you guys watching as always. And this month we are going to try and keep it short and sweet because there's not a whole lot to report.
If we can do this under 8 minutes, I'm going to be absolutely gobsmacked here. Yeah, 5 minutes.
Okay, so I guess the only real thing to note in terms of like economic kind of headwinds we've kind of seen recently is that we are now officially in a recession.
A technical recession.
Yeah, and I think we've sort of said this before. We kind of feel like we've been in a recession for a couple of years now, but the data is now saying that we are in negative growth for two quarters consecutively, albeit I think one of them was 0.1% negative growth, so take that with a grain of salt. But effectively, the data is now starting to report what we kind of all know. It's not a heavy, deep, dark recession like we had in 2008 or whatever, but we are definitely in a difficult economic time. Go figure.
This is not much is happening.
Yeah. I mean, times
through
are
the
tough.
whole, not just in the housing market, but just in general, right?
Yeah, and I guess a lot of people don't really kind of see what a recession, or don't really understand what a recession is, or they kind of just feel like, well, what does that mean? Like negative growth. But it's kind of like, I guess the old adage is, one person's spending is another person's income. So when people, for example, aren't buying houses, which is a huge part of the economy here in British Columbia, they are also not, those, realtors aren't making as much money. Then it goes down to the lawyers, contractors to do renovations, furniture stores, appliances, all that other stuff. It kind of knocks on, right? So you have a knock-on effect. And obviously businesses, their incomes will go down, and that's kind of leads to job layoffs and all that kind of stuff. So we're kind of there. I mean, it's nothing serious. We've been here for a while.
Just a lack of growth. It's just kind of been beating the same old drum seemingly for the last few years.
Yeah,
really.
Pretty much, yeah.
And in terms of like the housing market in general, like we kind of struggle every last couple of months here. We're like, well, there's really nothing new to talk about. Again, we'll hit on condos. Condos are not doing great for the most part. We're just seeing like, a lot of the older complexes from the 80s and 90s, they've put off work for years. A lot of, at the lower price bands, you've got a couple clients we're looking at in lower price bands, and not super low, just like, not high-end $1,000 a square foot condos. We're just seeing like a lot of stuff coming up where it's like, you've got a membrane project, you've got window projects, you've got roof, and I don't think the pricing that is being advertised online and that the sellers are asking is really factoring in a lot of these things. So I do think that's a reason why a lot of the older product is sitting, is because sellers are still, and realtors are still trying to demand a reasonably high price for these units, but we're not factoring in the general amount of work that's coming down the pipe for them. And then when you flip over into newer product, it's just seemingly an oversupply of mostly tenanted units, cookie cutter, mom and pop investors trying to get out of the market, asking high pricing, and they're just not moving. There's no real draw for buyers right now for these units, especially with strata fees going up. A lot of these newer towers and complexes are having a lot of construction-based issues around their mechanical components and stuff like that.
Well, not to mention as well, I mean, a lot of these newer projects, it's like, you have like 6 of the same floor plan in the same building, all active, all at one time.
With a
just different levels.
Yeah, different levels, different price bands.
So who's going to win? It's just a pricing thing, right?
They are moving. Condos are selling. It's just, it takes that first seller who has the equity in it, wants to make a move. They set a new price band. Things are kind of rolling over. So we are seeing like a bit of a reset in some of the condos. And you'll see the inventory is a bit down last month as well as the sales volume. And I think that's also to do, I mean, if we really analyzed it and looked at the amount of listings that came off the market from last month, I think that's kind of a bit of it as well.
I think it's the data points to the sellers and the buyers are sort of exiting the market a little bit. So if you look at like the inventory levels compared to last year, this is actually across all product types. So anything from houses down to condos or whatever, all areas is pretty much correlation where it's like, if you had a certain amount of inventory on the market last May, you compare it to this May, inventory might be down 5-10%, which you might think, great, less competition, but there's less sales happening by about 5-10% as well. So we're still in a buyer's market, balanced market in almost everything. Prices are still correcting a little bit. I think in the condo space, definitely. We have a condo listed right now and there's 25 people that have it in their favorite car on the MLS. That means it's like they've been like, that's the one I want to see. And we've had probably 3 people through that listing in like almost 2 months. And we're just going, where's the other 22? Like, where are they? Like, people.
And again, it comes down to like, it's a unique unit, but it doesn't have a patio. It's like, there's a few things about it that like, it's kind of back to like anything that's not like,
quirky.
wow.
Yeah.
Anything that's got a bit of a quirk or a bit of a thing to it, but is arguably like a cool product. It's like we're waiting for that specific buyer for that unit. It's not like it's a 1 out of 8 buyers would be interested in that unit, right? So
but still, where are they?
Where are they? It's a bit tough with that. Townhouses and detached, as long as they're priced well, seem to be arguably moving fairly well. For example, I went and looked at a house in North Vancouver a couple of days ago. Small upper floor plan, only 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom up, a 3rd bedroom downstairs, had a suite, nice lot. Buyers bought for $165 2.5 years ago. It's listed at $1.6. They got an offer probably just below $1.6 within a day. So if things are priced well and sharp, as you say, in the detached townhouse sphere, things do seem to be moving.
So that's a good example, that house there. So the sellers came in and they said, yes, we will take a loss on this right out the gate. What we more often see is I bought it at 1.6, right?
Whatever, 165, yeah.
Therefore, I pay this on the way in, property transfer tax, realtor commission, so I'm going to need to get 1.7. So let's just do it 1.75 and see what happens. And then you just watch the market trickle down, and then they end up correcting and taking 1.5, and they could have got like a 1.575, whatever, right?
And I think it also boils down to intent behind the move, right? These people, obviously, in that 2.5 years, they had 2 kids, so quite a quick 2-kid turnaround. They've only got 2 bedrooms up. They don't want to put a small kid in the basement. They love the lot. They love the neighborhood, but they found a better property in a different neighborhood that they already really like for a really great price because those sellers were making a move, and they're fine to absorb that loss to improve their lifestyle and what they're living in, right?
100%.
So again, we've been beating this drum for the past 3 months, and I really think that is what is pushing the market, what is kind of holding the market, is the people that actually want to make a move. Everyone asks me, oh, how's the real estate market doing? Or why are there no sales happening? And I go, well, it's because people are not realistic with their pricing. If all of a sudden everybody in the market that was listed right now got harshly realistic with their pricing, we would see a surge of sales.
But the thing about that one is it's super hard to be realistic about pricing.
Because there's not enough data.
There's not enough data, that's the issue.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult when you're kind of looking at comps and you go, oh, wow, this month in February, it's kind of like this, and it's going, okay, well, it's very difficult to say to a seller, hey, this one's sold at this price, so you need to go like 50 grand below that. And they go, well, why? That was like February. But it's like, just my gut feeling tells me this is kind of
if you want to make a move,
It's such a gut feeling market,
and
it's
then
very difficult.
It also parlays into the realtor aspect, which another thing, we are members of realtors through the Fraser Valley and the Greater Vancouver border, both down to levels we haven't seen since pre-COVID, which is...
Oh, I think that'll go a long way as well.
Yeah, I think that'll be coming down a lot more. So a lot of part-timers leaving the market, which arguably is good. It's too bad but it makes our job easier. And I lost what I was going to say there. What was it?
I'd say it makes the job easy, but putting deals together now is very complex. And
yes.
Usually, not always, but I think it's very clear to me just by looking at like sales in a particular area or whatever, who's doing the sales, like which realtors are actually doing the business.
Yeah.
And it's predominantly the same names popping up kind of everywhere, and it's because it's really what we call the medallion, the top 10% agents, which are doing all of the business, or the vast majority. It's always been that way, but I think now sellers are going, well, we better get someone good, because obviously if we don't get someone good, this could cost us a lot of money, right?
Yeah. I remember what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Arguably, I think the issue does rely on realtors with pricing as well, because even seasoned agents that maybe have had a few bad months, they're going to a listing presentation, they're up against a couple other realtors. It's a natural instinct to kind of want to agree with the sellers and tell them what they want to hear pricing wise so you can get the listing, right? Like we try to avoid it at all cases, but sometimes at the end of the day, I mean, all the time, the seller does pick the pricing. We can give them all the advice in the world. They're going to pick the pricing, right? So it's hard for realtors sometimes to have these hard upfront conversations with the seller and give them realistic expectations on pricing, especially if there's two other realtors behind you that are hurting for a listing and they're gonna just be like, oh well, yeah, no, this is worth whatever you want it to be worth.
Yeah,
right.
I know it's kind of been the most difficult thing about the last few years is honestly providing information and then kind of being batted to one side because someone said a higher number, and then watching that person list the home, reduce it to usually lower by that point than what you said, and then sell it.
And then sell it.
And it's kind of like
5 months.
It's a bit of a kick in the teeth, but at the end of the day, you have to have a moral backbone. At the end of the day, we can go to sleep knowing we did the right thing, right? So it's difficult, but
and we're also not in the business of taking listings we can't sell.
No,
it doesn't work for our business model. So I mean, why would we want to do that?
Yeah, it's a difficult conversations for sure with sellers recently, and also buyers as well. Because you're buying right now. I mean, the place you buy could end up dropping 50, 100 grand in value in the next year or so. Who knows? But that's why the time horizon is so important for us. We never sell product knowing full well people are going to be out of it in 3 years. We just say there's no point. You've got to have a kind of 5, 8 year, maybe preferably 10 year, depending on the product, to hold it for. So
exactly.
That's kind of where we're at. Not a huge amount to report. We had a couple of good sales last month. It was really great. Bit of a slower month compared to previous months for us. We were very busy at the beginning of the year, but things are starting to pick up a little again. So yeah, hopefully we're back next month with some more interesting information because it's been a bit of a quiet one.
11 minutes, almost 12. But thank you very much as always for watching. We really appreciate it. And hopefully we're back next month with some more riveting news. And in the meantime, take care, enjoy the start of summer, and we hope all are well.
Take care, guys.
Bye.